How you doing, guys? Just out here in the garage taking some measurements. We got the Dykem. It's on all the things. That's why they appear purple. Oh, we haven't started that yet. I was just looking at the retainers and the clearance to see how much I have to machine off these valve guides. Here's the stock stuff. Here's the comp cams with the comp cams keepers. There is a big difference. There's a difference in 90 thousandths. These are 90 thousandths shorter. I know 5 1/4 .525 is the limit on a stock set of retainers on an AMC. Anything past that, it just cuts the seal like a cookie cutter. If you use the umbrella seal, it cuts it and leaves it hanging on the bottom. If you machine them for a positive seal and still leave them the same height, you just cut the spring off and you're done. So this allows you to go 550 without an issue. But I'm not sure what we're gonna go in lift right now. We haven't decided, but I want to see how much I want to take these things down and work on it from there. So we're just getting some ballpark measurements, nothing exact at this point. It doesn't have to be within a couple of thousandths. You know what I mean? You can tell if you're off 20 thousandths. So with that said, I'm going to keep working and measuring and see what we got to do. Check my installed height roughly. See the difference, and just to see the difference between this and this. Not to actually set up my installed height. See if this actual retainer is taller. And with a quick measurement, I'm coming up with 2 thousandths taller. So that's not that major. So if it was 20 or 30 thousandths, there'd be a lot of work that would be happening there. Just they'll sell shims, and I'm not talking about the little shims. They sell actually hardened seats that you could start to make this a lot thicker rather than stack the normal shims that you put in after a valve job. But we have to have the spring installed height correct, or everything falls by the wayside. If the springs are in too loose, the valves will just float. And these are pretty big valves, so we have to get it right. Okay, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see. You see the line? It seems to be on the right side of all the ports where it's scraggly. This seems to be nice, and that seems to be decent. This is terrible and flares out, and this comes out a little bit. So you can see the top is pretty good right there, has to come down right there, and then we're good. Just a hair on the top, and then right down to here. Same here, the top is good. That whole nastiness has to come off, and just around there. And we'll just clean that up over there. So not a lot, but if there's one thing I did learn, it's not always flow, it's turbulence. Turbulence, dealt with a lot with that Mitsubishi. Turbulence. And two surfaces are different, and the air comes across and twirls. It causes all sorts of troubles. Yeah, we had drivability troubles, hesitations, stumbling from misaligned stuff. You'd have to sit there and you reach in and you align it and clamp it back down and it all goes away. Amazing what a little bit, you know what I mean? Good 10, 15, 20 thousandths can do to air turbulence. So I marked it for that. I marked the seats real quick. Just gonna get off the points here and points here. This I'm gonna leave 3/4 of the way, but from here to here with a sharp edge is we're gonna just round that over in there. We are gonna just round over the front edge of this guide. The guide on the exhaust port actually sits flush. There's just a tiny little edge right here. We're gonna take off there, doing nothing else to the exhaust ports whatsoever. So basically, it's just we're gonna reshape the front of the guide slightly, get rid of that sharp edge that it hits, round her over, get rid of that. I guess it's about 1/4 way around the valve. Whoops, where the machining comes to an end and it's an abrupt corner. That's as far as we're gonna go into those. We're gonna gasket match it, and I gotta dig out the header gaskets, see how they fit on here, and see how they fit on the actual header. Usually the exhaust ports are pretty good match wise, so, and I don't want to make it too much bigger that it's just areas for it to leak. I'd rather lose a little than hit a sound. So then after that we'll clean them, figure out what we're gonna do, and we'll decide how much I want to go down on those guides. I got to sit and do some measurements. I got to actually commit and pick a cam that I want, or even one size bigger than I'm looking for at this time, just to have a nice safety margin. And you'll see this go together with outer springs only till the cam's broken in, then we'll put the inner springs in. So just the outer springs alone are single springs that Comp and all these people run, and then the inner spring is just a secondary spring to it, meaning if you run just the outer spring, they list it on their cams. I have all the specs written inside. I think it's 130 on the valve seat and 300 at whatever. But the outer spring is the spring they would run on a cam up to 280 degree duration. So it's not just half of a spring, it is an actual spring, and that's what we'll break the cam in with, and then we'll pop the other springs in. So we'll fit them here, make sure everything's right, then pull them out. So with that said, I dug out my antiquated. Look how rusty this thing is. We're getting it. Spring compressor. Craftsman. Says it on there somewhere. This is from before I started in the field, so it's well over 30 years old. And the reason it got the areas where it pivots on have no rust, but the reason it got so rusty is it laid in the bottom of a cart and water and stuff got in it. But started off in the field using that, then they realized it was way too slow. They don't even use spring compressors. Do them by hand, pop them off by hand, put them in by hand, just push down on the tool and release them. So have all these valves out in 15 seconds if we got it. So you make money. So with that said, guys, I'm calling this a video for right now. I gotta go get some tools to grind this. I know I have the bits somewhere in my toolbox at work, but I'll just get new ones. It's actually cheaper. It's nice to have a second set. So that's it, guys.